All right, what's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here, and not a great start to the day here as U.S. troops and contractors at a U.S. base in Syria get attacked, and at least one dead. Take a listen.
Coalition base was attacked in northern Syria. An American contractor killed by a suicide drone. 5 U.S. service members and another American contractor were also wounded in the attack Thursday. Overnight, the Pentagon saying U.S. intelligence believes the drone was of Iranian origin. President Biden landing in Canada late Thursday, ordering U.S. retaliation with what the Pentagon describes as precision airstrikes, hitting facilities in eastern Syria used by groups affiliated with Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin saying, as President Biden has made clear, we will take all necessary measures to defend our people and will always respond at a time and place of our choosing, adding that no group will strike our troops with impunity. 2 of the American service members were treated on site, while 3 others and the wounded contractor were evacuated to medical facilities in Iraq. Since January 2021, there have been 78 attacks against facilities housing U.S. troops in Iraq and Syria. U.S. Central Command says most of the attacks, involving drones and rockets, were carried out by Iran or Iranian-backed proxies. Syria has yet to offer an official response to the latest Iranian-backed attack. And Iran, that Biden administration officials call the largest security threat in the Middle East, has not reacted to the U.S.'s retaliatory strikes. Right now, the U.S. has roughly 900 troops and hundreds of contractors on the ground in eastern Syria, working with Kurdish forces there to prevent a resurgence of ISIS in that region. Craig and Savannah.
All right, Peter, thank you very much. Let's turn to NBC's chief foreign correspondent, Richard Engel, who, of course, has been watching all of this very closely. So, Richard, how much of a risk does this latest attack from Iran pose in the conflict there, provoking a broader conflict, when, of course, the U.S. has mainly been focused on Ukraine and China and Russia?
Well, we don't hear about American troops in Syria very much, but that they have been there for the last several years, elite American special forces on this counter-ISIS mission. And they often come into contact with Iran. They often come into contact with these Iranian-backed militias. The real question is, why did Iran now choose to carry out this attack? It was a largely unprovoked attack. American troops were on this base. The attack took place at 1:30 in the afternoon, according to the Pentagon, killing this American contractor. Iran would know that this would provoke a quick response. The Americans are not going to just take an attack on a base in the country where they're carrying out a counter-ISIS mission without responding. So is Iran trying to test it? Is it trying to see how far it can go? It seems like Iran is trying to apply pressure on the United States, make it painful so that over time the U.S. will end its presence there and allow Iran to have more influence in the region.
Just a reminder, there are so many hot spots around the world. Richard, thank you very much.
Yeah, so one contractor killed and 5 U.S. servicemen and another U.S. contractor wounded there, in Syria. And now the Biden administration is issuing counterstrikes against this. Will this provoke something even larger, as if this wasn't bad enough? And U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin issuing a stark warning to the United States and to members of Congress. Take a listen to what he has to say here. Don't take my word for it. Listen to what he says.
This is a strategy-driven budget and one driven by the seriousness of our strategic competition with the People's Republic of China. This budget will help us continue to implement our 2022 National Defense Strategy and the President's National Security Strategy.
In order to protect the American people, readiness now and readiness in the future through modernization is our #1 priority, and there is no other #1. Right now, the international system is under stress. For the first time in our nation's history, the United States is facing 2 major nuclear powers whose vital national security interests are in competition with the United States. Both the People's Republic of China and Russia have the means to threaten our interests and our way of life. But war with Russia or China is neither inevitable nor imminent. This budget sustains our current readiness and adapts the joint force to the future warfighting requirements. This is a matter of significant national security importance. We must act with clear-eyed urgency. By doing so, no adversary should ever underestimate the resolve of our nation and the strength of our military. Preparation for war and deterring war is extraordinarily expensive, but it's not as expensive as fighting a war. And this budget prevents war and prepares us to fight it if necessary.
Yeah, so the United States, it just literally seems like we're fending off foes at all fronts at this point. And you got to remember here that there is a major war going on right now in Ukraine, Russia and Ukraine. And if you asked most Americans, they would tell you the public enemy number one is Russia and or China. And we're not really at war with China, but Russia is at war with Ukraine. And if you asked Russia, they would tell you that by proxy, they're kind of at war with the United States. And, you know, they're literally threatening us here almost on a weekly basis. It's scary times. It's scary times here. And when you look at things like the doomsday clock, which was invented decades and decades ago, you can see here from the doomsday clocks is at a time of unprecedented danger is at 92nd to midnight. And the doomsday clock is basically was created years and years, decades ago. And the clock now stands at 90 seconds to midnight, the closest to global catastrophe that it has ever been before. It says, quote, this year, the Science and Security Board of the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists moves the hands of the doomsday clock forward, largely, though not exclusively, because of the mounting dangers of the war in Ukraine and because of countries like Russia that have nuclear weapons. Yeah, the doomsday clock was created over 75 years ago, and it now states that we're the closest to boom, everything being at a world-ending state than ever before. So the question is, how do we stop this? Well, at this point, I don't see any peace negotiations that are going to be actually happening because I don't see Russia stopping. And this presents a problem because this could be going on for quite a while. So let me know your thoughts here in the comments. I'll keep you up to date here with everything. Thank you so much for liking and sharing these videos. And if you haven't yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below and the bell icon so you don't miss out on new videos. It's completely free to do so. Here's some videos you should watch next. Here was an urgent warning just sent out to millions of Americans. Watch that if you haven't. And here was a major announcement just sent out by the Fed that is going to affect a lot of people. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.